Have you ever felt trapped by circumstances beyond your control, wondering if deliverance will ever come? Today, we discover how God's deliverance breaks every chain and shatters every prison that holds His people captive. Your deliverance is not just possible, it's promised. The children of Israel found themselves in an impossible situation that required divine deliverance. After 400 years of brutal slavery in Egypt, they stood at the edge of the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army charging toward them from behind. Death seemed certain, hope appeared lost, and deliverance felt like a cruel dream that would never come to pass. And Moses said to the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which He will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace." Exodus 14:13-14. Moses spoke these words of deliverance not from a position of human strength, but from absolute dependence on God's faithfulness. The Hebrew word for salvation here is Yeshua, which encompasses complete deliverance, rescue, and victory rolled into one powerful promise. When Moses commanded the people to stand still, he wasn't asking them to be passive, but to position themselves to witness God's mighty deliverance. The context reveals that this deliverance came after a night of terror and confusion. The Israelites had complained bitterly against Moses, wishing they had died in Egypt rather than face this moment of crisis. Yet God was orchestrating the greatest demonstration of deliverance in their history, turning their moment of greatest fear into their testimony of greatest faith. Notice that Moses didn't promise the people an easy path or a comfortable solution in their deliverance. He promised them God's salvation, which often comes through the very circumstances that seem to threaten our destruction. The same sea that appeared to block their escape became the instrument of their enemies' defeat and their own miraculous deliverance to freedom. God's deliverance rarely looks like what we expect from our human perspective. We want Him to remove our problems, but He often uses our problems to reveal His power in deliverance. We pray for the mountain to be moved, but sometimes He gives us the strength to climb it and the wisdom to see His glory from the summit through deliverance. The phrase, "the Lord will fight for you," carries the image of a divine warrior going to battle for your deliverance. This isn't a God who watches from a distance, but one who steps into the arena of our struggles and fights the battles we cannot win for our complete deliverance. Your current crisis isn't evidence of God's absence. It's the stage for His deliverance. "And you shall hold your peace" doesn't mean to remain silent in fear during your deliverance. The Hebrew word cherish suggests being quiet with expectation, like a child who stops crying because daddy has arrived for their deliverance. When God fights for your deliverance, anxiety gives way to anticipation. Panic transforms into praise. Think about your own Red Sea moment today that requires God's deliverance. Perhaps you're facing financial ruin, relationship breakdown, health challenges, or overwhelming circumstances that seem to have no solution and desperately need deliverance. The same God who brought deliverance to Israel is the God who sees your situation right now, and His power for deliverance hasn't diminished with time. Deliverance isn't just about getting out of trouble. It's about discovering who God is in the midst of trouble. The Israelites didn't just experience deliverance by crossing the Red Sea. They learned that their God was mightier than the greatest empire on earth. Your current struggle isn't just about your deliverance. It's about your deeper understanding of God's character through deliverance. The enemy wants you to believe that deliverance is hopeless, that God has forgotten you, that this time is different. But the same voice that spoke deliverance to Moses speaks to you today. Do not be afraid, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord. Your deliverance is not dependent on your strength, your resources, or your ability to figure things out. God specializes in impossible situations because they provide the perfect backdrop for His deliverance and glory. When there's no human explanation for your breakthrough and deliverance, everyone will know that God did it. When the Red Sea parts in your life through God's deliverance, it won't be because of your wisdom or power, but because of His faithfulness and love. Today, position yourself for God's deliverance by releasing control to Him. Stop trying to fight battles that belong to Him and trust in His deliverance. Release your grip on control and let the Lord of hosts take the field for your complete deliverance. God's deliverance is coming. Your breakthrough through deliverance is near, and your testimony of deliverance is being written in this very moment. The God of deliverance never fails His people, and He will not fail you today.